Today we are celebrating the International Primates Day, which is a day dedicated to promote awareness on primates, to enhance the welfare of primates, as well as addressing the problems that are affecting primates, particularly the ones which are threatened. I will start by talking more about primates. Globally, we have about 504 different species of primates, which are distributed in different places, primarily in neotropics, which is in the South American region, Indonesia, Africa mainland, and Madagascar. Africa alone, or Africa mainland, has about 111 species. 19 of these species occur in Kenya, and Kenya constitutes about 17 to 24% of the African primates diversity. Globally, 65% of all the primates are threatened, and over 75% are facing serious problem of population decline. In Kenya, 50% of the primate species are threatened, and Kenya might be facing a serious primate crisis or primate extinction crisis, given that we are almost at the point where we are announcing the disappearance of southern Patas monkey as extinct from the country. The other thing I want to highlight on is the problems that are pushing most of these primates to extinction, and the primary one is actually habitat degradation, fragmentation, and loss. This is largely driven by expansion in agriculture, which is brought about by increasing human population, which increases the demand for food, and people cut down forests to create room for agriculture to feed the rising population. Another problem is actually bushmeat. Although this is not very common in Kenya, it's a major problem in West African countries. The other thing, which is actually a major driver of primates towards extinction, is cattle ranching or livestock keeping. This is a problem in neotropics. But also we've seen the same problem in Kenya, particularly in the lower Tana region. Another problem is pet trade, and we have also seen people trading on primate parts. So these are some of the few threats that primates are facing, and they are fast pushing them towards extinction. And of course, I can't forget about infrastructural development. If we think of Kenya, Tana River or the lower Tana River ecosystem is key for primate conservation, particularly the globally endangered primates, the Tana River red colobus and the Tana River mankabe. It's the same region we are undertaking major development projects like the LAPSET project. This is going to have huge impact on the primate habitat. And so far, with previous agricultural projects like the sugar plantations, the rice plantations, we've seen them displace most of the private key habitat. So generally, as we mark this day, those are some of the things we need to highlight the public and the conservation community about, and stress the need for concerted efforts to stop the risks that are facing primates. Of course, Kenya is not really very strong in primate conservation, but I think with this initiative, we are going to raise awareness among the general public and solicit the support we need to drive the conservation agenda of primates. So with this, and as we mark this day, I call upon every Kenyan to know that primates matter as a component of biodiversity, as part of our culture, as part of our heritage, and actually as a key informer of our evolutionary history.
I'm doing quite a number of things in primate conservation because largely I'm a primatologist, I can say so. Initially used to be a wildlife biologist studying mountain bongos, but today I really concentrate on primate conservation and more so resolving human and human wildlife conflicts. One of the tools I've been using to resolve that is actually translocation, using of translocation as a tool in resolving the conflicts. I've been also using community conservation initiatives to manage the conflicts. The reason as to why I use the community is because you find that most of the areas where we have the conflicts, the source of the conflict has been humans. It's human-driven conflict, such that the human beings are the ones who are actually destroying the habitat. They deny these monkeys access to food, and the only way these animals can be able to survive is by either crop raiding, by either getting into people's houses, or by venturing into the wastes. So in involving the community or bringing closer these communities into conservation, they own these animals first. You make them own the animals. Then from there, you make them see the benefit they can be able to reap from these animals. Then the next thing you do is to guide them on how they can be able to manage these animals. And we've had a number of initiatives. One of the key initiatives has been the Karura Forest. The colobus translocation to Karura was actually community driven because the community saw the need to have the monkeys here first. Secondly, they saw the need of ecotourism or primate tourism, and they drove that process as a community. And even to date, they're the ones who are driving that process of conserving the monkeys in this forest through restoration programs. We also have other initiatives like we have the On-to-Really primate protection, which is another initiative driven by actually women in the society. And the women have realized that instead of killing these animals, how can we be able to coexist with them and actually benefit from them? And that is where now they came up with the initiative of restoring their habitats, making sure that they have enough food. Then from there, they can now be able to benefit from them. One of the things most people don't realize is that you can be able to coexist with the monkeys very well, even within your homestead. You can live with these animals as long as they have enough wild food. An example, we have colobus monkeys here in Karura. Some of them are outside the forest. We have monkeys in Runda, in Muthaiga, in Spring Valley. They're in people's plots. But one of the things we've done is to enlighten the communities on which are the best foods they can be able to grow within their areas, such that these animals, whenever they come to their plots, they have enough wild food, so that they don't now venture into their kitchen, into their houses looking for food. And it has worked pretty well. So community-driven initiatives are the key to making sure that primates actually thrive in most of these areas.
We're a community-based organization along the On-to-Really River in Nanyuki in Laikipia. And we're a group of neighbors who had noticed that we had resident colobus families, and we wanted to try and see how we could A, protect the habitat, and B, look after the primates that were there. We have about 70 colobus. We have lots of sykes coming through. We began to also reforest our On-to-Really River, the riparian area, and notice a return of bushback and bushback antelope and Sunni antelope as well. We decided to have a community meeting. We involved the chief, KWS, NEMA. We were given the name of Peter Fundi from the IPR in Nairobi. So he came and he has helped us train some of the local women. So we have a team of 6 women who we call our primate guardians. They go along the Ontulili River. We work along a stretch of about 3 or 4 kilometers, and they take data. So they go out bi-monthly. They collect data, they monitor where the families of primates are, both colobus and sykes. We sometimes see baboon, but not so often. So they collect this data that we then feed back to our donors, to IPR as well. We're very in touch with Peter Njagi of IPR. And the community project is beginning to grow because we've decided that we want to also help reforestation and reforest the riparian land along the Ontulili. So we've set up a tree nursery. We've helped a local group set up a nursery. We have about 30 women who help look after that tree nursery. So we buy seedlings from the community, from the tree nursery group, and try and help reforest parts of the river. So that's how we're trying to get community more involved with reforestation of the riparian, because we've been noticing as a group of neighbours the Ontulili River, the water levels going down. So it's very important for us to reforest the Ontulili. We have a few cases of human-wildlife conflict. Some people chasing the primates because they come in and eat maize. So we've been doing a lot of education in the area. We run local art classes in the area for children. So the reason we do that is basically to instill a love of environment to the younger generation, and we do that through art. So we know children learn a lot through visual communication. So we talk to them about the different types of trees, the monkeys that they see, the butterflies, all sorts of animals that we see along the Ontulili, and then they come back and draw them. So we do those classes. We've been running classes for over a year now. So those are some of the community projects that we're doing, and we're hoping to extend the project that we're working on, that 3 or 4 kilometer stretch. So the idea is to further the project out and start maybe incorporating some of the schools around us. So bringing in older children to as interns, and also to help teach art and just try and engage and broaden the community that's working within that area.
One part of the work we started with the identification of a family of colobus monkey. The species of monkey that we have here in Karura, or the species that we translocated from Kipipiri in 2014 to 2016, is the Mount Kenya gueleza, or Mount Kenya colobus. We wanted to know how they relate with the community, along the community lines, because you might find that these individuals, once we translocated them, after release, they settled along the riverine, and this riverine is the border between the forest and the forest and the neighborhood, especially the Muthaiga estate. So we have been monitoring the group for a long time, especially to know the feeding habits, the behavior habits, the ranging pattern of these monkeys, and also the changing dynamics, because you might find that breeding is the cause of the day for them, because once we brought 9 individuals from that group, they have to give birth. They have to increase in size, and that's what we mostly try to check on, and also how they coexist with the people, because you might know that in Kenya that most of the animals, especially the primates, you always find them in a neighborhood, in that home, various homestead. So we have to coexist with them. We have to have a way of creating awareness to the community, especially the interaction between the primates and the human primates and the monkeys. We have to have that in mind.
We have done a lot of work around Mount Kenya, around the Tana River Delta, just to mention a few whereby they are key hotspots for primate rehabilitation. And what we have seen is that through the work we do, planting trees, restoring woodlands, restoring wetlands, grasslands, this becomes a very beautiful habitat for these primates to exist. And while they are there, other animals will come along, because there's animals feeding on the vegetation. For instance, what we saw today this morning when we were doing the primate walk, we were watching colobus monkeys. But then there's a correlation between them and the birds in this area, because when the colobus monkeys eat fruit and then they throw down whatever they have not eaten, there's birds that are feeding on that. While they're jumping from one tree to another, there's leaves that are falling down. There are small antelopes called the Sunni antelope. They'll be coming down and picking on the foliage that are fallen from the trees. As a result, there's that interdependence. And even then, when they're doing that, when the foliage falls on the ground, it forms a nice cover for the ground, which makes sure that the microorganisms underground also not affected by diverse climate. So all these, it's interdependent. And our key focus is how then can we restore our natural ecosystem to a place whereby humans, animals, plants, and even birds are all living in harmony and obviously at optimal. So our work centers around all that. And our prayer is that people look beyond just trees as being a source of fuel. It's looking at them that they are an important part of our ecosystem in terms of sustaining clean air. It's ensuring that we have clean water in our taps. It's ensuring that we have a source of hydropower. And that should be a motivation for everyone to take ownership, because if we degrade our habitats as they are, the effects might not be felt today. But I believe right now what the issues that we are facing, especially with climate change, are things that our parents did, our foreparents did, and they did not take caution. So it's urging everyone to just take into consideration how they handle the environment. It goes across in terms of our habits. How are we dumping? How are we managing our garbage? What are we doing to our rivers? What is going to be the effect of that? And just being conscious. We're inviting everyone to come on board, work with us on restoration projects. We are gone beyond planting trees. We are growing forests. And in this forest, the primates, the animals, snakes, birds, everything is going to thrive.
Today, we launched the tree planting exercise or the habitat restoration in these habitats by planting some few trees here in Karura. And we expect, or we target, to grow about 20,000 trees countrywide. And most of these are actually going to focus on the primary primate habitats. The other thing we were to do, which is very important in addressing the problems of primates, is to develop the management guidelines of the problem primates, as well as developing the action plans for the most endangered ones. So that process again today has been initiated, and soon we are going to unveil these important documents that will guide the conservation and the management of our primates, as well as helping us to solicit support in a very coordinated way to ensure that we have long-term survival of our primates.
Today was International Primate Day. It's normally on 1st September. As part of the primate community, we thought it would be good to celebrate the day. And I think the day went really well. We had quite a lot of partners involved in it. IPR, of course, being at the forefront of it. We had KWS, KFS, Nature Kenya. Objectives of the day was just to hear people's perspectives of the primate conservation, to create awareness that there's more that we need to do, even if we're part of the primate community. We had quite a lot of people sharing on their opinion and things that they can improve and what they've actually done in their organizations.